Now we have Pygame installed. What we need to do is take a look at our assignment. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to go to our website at cit.dixie.edu. And if I could spell it correctly, it would help. Then I'm going to go to Courses and CS 1400. Then I'm going to go to the schedule, and I'm going to go to Virtual Pet Graphics Part 1, and we have some starter files that you need to download. So what you need to do is see this VPET Graphics Starter Kit in zip format. I'm going to download that, and it's here already, so I'm going to click on it. And there it is right there. What I need to do is extract that. And I am going to extract that to my drive. It would probably be best for you to put it on your Drive U. But since I'm doing this on my own personal computer, I will put this on my Drive C in a directory called VPET. So now that I have that inside my Drive C in VPET, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the main VPET. So I'm going to open this up using idle. So I'm going to open with, and it looks like I am missing it altogether, aren't I? Well, I will go to my idle program and bring up idle. And there I have it. And I'm going to go File, then I'm going to Open. And I put that on my Drive C in a directory called VPET. So I'm going to go VPET, and I'm going to go to my main program and open that up. So there is my main program. This is the program that I need to run. Notice how I'm importing Pygame code. That brings in the graphics. I'm importing math. That brings in some math functions. And then I've got three different things here that controls the mouse, that controls what's drawn, and the information and data. So basically I'm importing all of these things. These are all little programs. These last three, Game Mouse, VPET Draw, and VPET Data, have been created for you. And thank heavens, because it's a little complicated. If you look here, you can see that things are a little complicated. But what we need to do just for now is to see if things work. So let's go back up here and let's run from my main program. And there is the virtual pet screen right here. If I click angry, it shows angry here. If I click sleepy, it's sleepy, happy, bored, hungry, dead, and if I hit quit, it quits. Okay, so where is the code that creates those? I've opened the main program. If I open also the draw program here, then down here, see where it says draw happy? That's the code that draws the happy dog. This is the code here that draws the angry, the sleepy, the bored, the hungry, the dead. Those are the different modes, and everything else has pretty much been taken care of for you. It's a little complicated, so we've tried to give you some good starter code to start with. So let's say that I want to put a box around where it says happy right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going back to our original program here, and there are some vector graphics available in Pygame module. If you load that, then it shows you what all the different things are. So if I want to draw a rectangle, that's pygame.draw.rectangle. So what I will do is I will make a little box out of it, so I can just bring in what is needed to draw a rectangle. put that kind of to the side here. So what I'm going to do is right here where it says write code here, I am going to do pygame.draw.rectangle. And the first thing is it wants to know what surface I want to draw on. The surface that we've defined for you is called surface. And then the next little bit here is the color. Colors are specified in RGB values. So what we will do is we will put parenthesis, and let's say that I want a red rectangle. That's red, green, blue. So let's go 200.0.0. That means each of these three numbers goes from 0 to 255. So 200 is a fairly strong red with no green, red, green, and no blue here. Now the next phase is the points where the rectangle starts and stops. So we will start it at 200, 200, and we will end it at, let's go 300, let's go 400, that's across, and 300 down. And then how thick do we want the border? We will start it out at 2. Okay, so that completes that pygame.draw rectangle. This says draw a rectangle on our surface. This here, the 200 00's color. This is the rectangle points. Over 200, down 200 for the first point. The second point is over 400 and down 300. And the thickness of the rectangle is 2. So I'm going to save this. So come up here and we will save it. Then I'm going to come back to the main program. You always want to run the main program. So if I run the main program, notice how Happy now has a rectangle around it. It looks like my rectangle is a little too big, doesn't it? So that's fairly easy to fix. We will just quit here. We will go back to my program. If I can find it here, it's got to be around here someplace. Here it is, the draw program. And notice how I've put the things at 200, 200. Let's go to 100, 100 and go to maybe 300 by 300 and see if that works better. So that means go down over 100, down 100 for the first point, over 300 and down 300 for the second point. So I am going to save this. And then I am going to come over here and run it from the main program and see what happens. So there is a rectangle. Not very well centered, but I could play with it a little bit and get that to work a little bit better. So the Happy button will do a rectangle. Let's make the Angry button draw a circle around that. So I'm going to quit. I am going to go back to my draw program here. And the Angry program, I want a circle. So go here to the documentation here, and it's pygame.draw.circle. So I will come here and do pygame, whoops, that needs to be lowercase, pygame.draw.circle on the surface. And if I come up here, what is the thing here? We are going to draw on the surface. Then the next parameter is we need color. So what color do I want to make it? Let's go 200, 0, well, let's make this one a green one. 0, 200, red, green, and blue. And then it wants to know a POS is the center of where we want to put it. So let's put the center of the circle is where? That we will put it as 200, 200. The next thing it wants to know is the radius, and we will make it 100 in radius, and we will make it of thickness 2. So let's see how that works. I'm going to hit File, and I'm going to save it. Then I'm going back to the main program to run it, and I'm going to run it. There's my square. If I hit angry, it crashes, and it looks like I've misspelled draw. That's just awful. So I'm going to go back here, and let's see if I can figure out where my draw is misspelled. There it is. Let's save this. And then I'm going to go back here to my main program and run it. So if I click on angry, there is the circle. Now with a little bit of playing around, I could figure out where the center of that would be. And I'll hit quit. Okay, the next thing is an ellipse. So what you want to do with an ellipse is the ellipse is actually a circle that is bounded by a rectangle. So the ellipse pretty much has the same format as the circle. So if I go back, as the rectangle. So if I go back here, see I've got the draw rectangle working there. Under Sleepy, I am going to put pygame.draw. And what I want to do is I want to draw an ellipse with ELLIPSE. And the ellipse has the same format as a rectangle. So I want to draw it on our surface. What color do I want? Let's make this blue. Whoops, I've got a weird thing here, so I need to put comma 0, comma 0, comma, and the blue is right here. And then what rectangle? Let's use the same rectangle as the other one. And then what's the width of the stroke? Is going to be 2. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this. Let's see what happens if I try to run this. Nothing happens. That's because I've run a helper application. What we really need to do is we need to run the main program, which, because I'm importing right here, brings in all of that code. So there is my rectangle, a circle, and an ellipse. But notice how it is amazingly like a circle. That's because the rectangle here is pretty much a square. So if I change the parameters of the rectangle, then that circle will look a lot better. So if we make this thing a little bit oblong here, instead of going to 300, let's make that, we're going to go over 300, we're going to go over 400, and down 300. So that should make it a little bit oblong. So let's save and go back to my main program and run it. Okay, if I go to Sleepy, notice how I now have a ellipse. If I hit quit, that quits that. And at this point, this is probably enough for this screencast. So this should give you enough to get started on drawing your dogs.